When we first arrived in Hollow's End, it looked like something out of a postcard. Small wooden houses, a quiet main street, and the smell of pine from the surrounding forest. The locals were polite but distant. The only strange thing was the warning everyone kept repeating in hushed voices. Greater than, don't go out at night. Ever. At first, my husband, Daniel, and I thought it was just some small-town superstition, maybe to keep tourists from wandering into the woods. We laughed about it over dinner and forgot all about it. Until last night, around 11 p.m., Daniel decided to run to the small convenience store for cigarettes. I told him not to, more because of the creepy warnings than anything, but he rolled his eyes. It's just a scare tactic. I'll be fine. He left. The minutes stretched into an hour. Our daughter had long fallen asleep, and I sat on the couch staring at the door. Something in my gut told me I shouldn't open it, no matter what. Outside, the town was silent, no wind, no cars, not even crickets. Then came the knocking. It started soft. Knock, knock, knock. I got up, thinking it was Daniel, but when I reached the peephole, the hallway was empty. Then the knocking started again, this time louder, coming from the back door. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Daniel. Greater than, don't open the door. No matter what. My blood ran cold. The knocking turned into pounding. A voice followed, hoarse, frantic, desperate. Greater than, babe, it's me. Please, let me in. They're coming. It sounded like him, but something was off. The voice cracked in strange places, like it didn't quite know how to mimic human speech. I backed away from the door, clutching our daughter. From outside, the voice grew more impatient. Greater than, why aren't you letting me in? It's cold out here, let me in. Then came the scraping, fingernails or claws dragging slowly across the wood. The doorknob rattled. I was shaking when my phone buzzed again. Another text from Daniel. Greater than, stay upstairs. I'm at the police station. That's not me at the door. The pounding stopped. The silence that followed was worse than the noise. And then, in the darkness outside, something started laughing. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak of the old house felt like footsteps coming closer. I stayed upstairs with our daughter, clutching a kitchen knife, until sunlight finally broke through the curtains. The morning felt wrong. The streets were empty, no birds, no voices, just the sound of the wind pushing dust along the cracked road. I called Daniel again, and he finally picked up. I told you not to open the door, he said, his voice tight. It was them. I asked who they were, but he only told me to meet him at the diner, one of the only open places in town during daylight. When we met, Daniel looked pale, almost sick. He told me he'd made it halfway to the store when the streetlights flickered and the air went ice cold. Figures began stepping out from between the houses, tall, thin silhouettes that moved in jerky, unnatural bursts. They had no faces, just smooth skin where eyes and mouths should be. One of them turned toward him, and then it smiled. Not with a mouth, it was like the skin itself stretched into a grin. That's when Daniel ran for the police station. The sheriff locked the doors and told him, flatly, greater than, you never go out after dark here. They can't cross a threshold unless you invite them in. But, they can sound like anyone you love. My stomach turned. Last night, that voice, his voice, had been one of those things. That's when I noticed the waitress behind the counter staring at me with wide eyes. She leaned closer and whispered, greater than, once they choose your house, they don't stop. We drove home in silence, the daylight feeling too thin to be safe. When we got back, there were marks on the front door, long, deep scratches in the wood, all the way to the handle. That night, we locked every door and window. I tried to stay awake, but around midnight I heard it again. Knock, knock, knock. Then Daniel's voice, trembling. Greater than, babe, I'm stuck outside again. Please, let me in. But Daniel was sitting right beside me, staring at the door with the same frozen horror I felt.